Sessions 21 and 22, Critical Measurements. Some measurements are critical for determining if outputs are satisfactory to customers, external and internal. An external customer is the end user of the finished product. An internal customer is the downstream process that receives the outputs of an intermediate process. Processes should consistently create outputs that are satisfactory. First, we need to identify the critical attributes or measurements based on what customers need and expect. Then, set standards for the measurements based on the range that is acceptable by the customers. Clearly document the standards using a critical measurement grid. There's a blank critical measurements form in the appendix and an Excel copy included with the leader training flash drive. The standards should be posted in a manner that allow the operators to quickly reference them. Develop tools and processes so operators can quickly measure the outputs to determine if they are acceptable. Go, no-go gauges can be a foolproof way to quickly measure the acceptability of outputs. In class exercise 26, the operators identify some of the critical measurements for the processes that they work with and fill out a critical measurement grid for the measurements. The measurements should be critical to satisfying internal customers or end customers. They could be related to the variability problems listed in class exercise 25. Make sure the operators understand the concept of internal customer. An internal customer is another area of the company that receives the outputs of a process, either to process the outputs further or to sell to the external customer. In part 2 of the exercise, the operators complete a critical measurement grid for one of the measurements. There is a blank form in the operator workbook. The operators may need help getting all the information needed to complete the grid. Invite any employees who would have the needed information to attend the class. When critical measurements are in effect, there will be outputs that fall outside of the acceptable range and will be rejected. To reduce process rejects, reject data needs to be collected. Track rejects using a reject log. There's a blank form in the operator workbook and on the leader flash drive. After enough reject data has been collected, make a Pareto chart of the reject types. Do a root cause analysis of the leading type of rejects. Assign action items to correct the root causes. In session 23, we will discuss 2 more tools for reducing variability: standard operating procedures and statistical process control.